Hello, my name is Michael Macintosh. I am a time traveler. I was born in the year 1974. At the age of 5, I first encountered extraterrestrial craft and extraterrestrial beings. At the age of 6, I was drafted by DARPA, a then offshoot of the Central Intelligence Agency, for projects that involved teleportation across North America and to Mars and back. When I was 5, the extraterrestrials that I encountered took me on extensive time and space travel uh, journey, which led me to the conclusion, after I recovered my memory of this experience, after it having been suppressed for a very long time, that I myself will be the President of the United States of America in 2024. Currently, it is 2020. I'm sitting here in front of my cheap HP laptop with a very bad camera that I have yet to replace with a good camera, having a beer. I like beer. It is my belief that if you don't like beer, there must be something wrong with you. So if there's anybody out there who doesn't like beer and can explain that to me, I would be happy to help you to understand that there is indeed something wrong with you. So, what shall we talk about today? Is there anybody going to come into the live chat? I hope so. I'm just here kind of having a beer, trying to relax, wishing that certain things were legal where I am, like marijuana, for instance. I would love to just sit here but I can't, because excuse me, excuse me, because in the state that I'm in, marijuana is still illegal. Use of it is punishable by fines and imprisonment, and I do not wish to bring that upon myself or my family, so I will not do that. But you can be assured that when I'm in, and I will be, a state where such activity is legal, I will come on here and with you guys and have a good little chat, and we can all just mellow out and discuss things intelligently and have a good time. That's what it's all about, you guys. You know, the hippies weren't all dumb. They had some good ideas. So, good afternoon, Lucas. you had a bad cough. You were sick with the stomach bug. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing well. I cough and illness that I had is pretty much gone as well. But I just have a slight allergy right now to something in my immediate environment, and I'm not sure what. It might be this beer, actually. It's an interesting beer. It's not something I usually drink, but anyway, this particular beer. I mean, I usually drink beer, but I don't usually drink this particular brand of beer. So it might be that. It's good though. I do enjoy it. So, hello Nathan, how are you? You've been researching today and saw pictures of ruins and structures on planet Mars. Very good. Those are real. Yep. It is absolute proof that there is a lost civilization and life on Mars, which I have talked about at great length at this point. At first, in my first ever media appearance, which was in my first media appearance talking about this subject, aside from my media appearances pertaining to my music career over the last 25 years. But when I started talking about this, that's one of the first things that I talked about extensively is the evidence of a lost civilization on Mars. And there are other people who have been in the Mars program. The US and other governments' hidden Mars programs, and who have come forward and talked about it too. So I wasn't the first person to do it, but I've certainly talked about it as well. And yes, there is a civilization still there, remnants of a civilization. And either A, the government is hiding it, B, they don't know how to process the information properly, or C, they're just taking their time and bringing to light this information. But yeah, I myself have actually witnessed the remnants of this civilization because I was on Mars, you guys. I know it sounds crazy and ridiculous, but the CIA teleported me to Mars as a 6-year-old boy with none other than future President Barack Obama. While I was there, I met my future self, 44-year-old me, because I remember when I was 44 going back there and meeting my 6-year-old self. And I also met another person who I believe is a future president named Annie Bishago there. So at one point in 1981, there were 3 future presidents, I believe, of the United States teleported to Mars, and one future president who time traveled back to 1981 to witness that event. So it's a strange world we live in, you guys. It really is. But this will all become evident in a relatively short time. So if I become president, Nathan says, if you became a president, will you tell us the real truth about Mars? I will declassify it. I will publish whatever there is to publish about it that is not currently published. I've already told my story, and I will do everything possible to bring others who have experienced the same thing and have been witness to the evidence of there having been an advanced civilization on Mars. I will bring them to the forefront and give them ample opportunity to speak to you guys and um, tell their story. Absolutely. Lucas says, "What do you think about the New Hampshire primary today? Today, I think it's the biggest freak out show I've ever seen." I haven't paid attention, frankly. I'm not overly concerned about what's going on with this election because um, I think everybody knows that Donald Trump has basically more or less saved America in the last 4 years from a lot of really bad stuff, and he's probably going to be reelected. So these are difficult times, and we need someone who is as tough-minded and as rigorous in their work as he obviously is. And I, I think most people realize that he is the man for the job for the next 4 years as well. So I'm just not paying attention, frankly. I've got too much going on in my own life to think about. So Lucas says, "I believe your story as you telling us the truth while I'm telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the best of my ability. So help me God." And I believe in God. So I would not deliberately leave something out or include something that isn't in my memory. I've struggled really very hard to access these memories and bring them out, but that's what I'm trying to do even further. Did Kirk Douglas pass this year? I didn't know that. If he did, did Kirk Douglas die?
No.
I think so.
Okay.
Mm. Well, that's life. People die, you guys. Hopefully, we'll all be around for a long time still, and actually get to do something with our lives while there's still time. That's my aim, and my goal is to, be of significant positive impact on this world while I'm still here, and to continue living for as long as I possibly can. So, as I think I've only really started. I mean, I've done a lot with my life already, I guess, but as far as I'm concerned, the most important things that I will do with my life overall are yet to come. So I hope that we all are the same way. Yeah, that's true, Nathan. There are planets, obviously, that are Earth-like. I mean, the universe is so huge. How could there not be, right? It just makes sense. And obviously, if there are intelligent species other than ourselves that have the ability to space and time travel, there are extraterrestrial civilizations for sure. In fact, that's what I believe I've been witness to when I was 5 years old. Some of the space travel that I was part of was visiting and seeing some of those civilizations. One in particular I can remember very well. I don't really know where it was, but I believe it was what the ETs that took me considered to be their home planet. and it was very calm. It was very peaceful. It was very clean, very very clean, and no negative at all. No negative feelings. Nothing. Um, I don't know how they're able to keep themselves from aging and not needing to eat. I have not figured that out, but somehow I don't remember when I was with them ever needing to eat anything or ever feeling like I was aging. I don't know how they do that, but maybe the fact that we're here on this planet has something to do with the aging process and why we grow old. I don't really know, but it seems like maybe out in space that aging just doesn't happen the same way as it does here on Earth. And I don't know. I don't know about nutrition and food. I don't know how they don't need to eat, and I didn't either when I was with them that I recall. So that is something I suppose we have to ask them when they uh, make themselves known to the general public at some point, which I think will happen by 2028. I really do, especially if I were to become president, because for some reason they like me. Like they have visited me on many occasions at this point, and um, they. I think if I were the president, they would certainly be willing to negotiate a deal where they can make themselves known to humanity as long as we promise to adhere to certain guidelines as well that keep them from being harmed by us. Because that seems to be the biggest thing that they're concerned about is us. We're dangerous. I mean, we're a bigger threat to them than they are to us, frankly. I mean, we've been doing all kinds of stupid stuff with nuclear weapons and poisoning the planet and even dumping our garbage in space. People don't know about that, but um, we've started dumping toxic waste in space in the last, or trying to anyway, in the last few decades, and it's still, for some reason, a consideration that some of our governments are having, which is insane, really. So, and I don't know if Wikipedia will be around to 2028. I'm sure they will. I mean, it doesn't cost very much to keep Wikipedia up and running, so unless they, you know, yeah, they ask you for money to help them keep operating and stuff. When you go on there to look something up, that's ridiculous, you guys. I mean, it costs like it costs me about $3 a month to keep my website up. That's like a cup of coffee. If you go like a cheap cup of coffee. So yeah, Wikipedia will likely be still around, and there'll probably be other uh, websites that will come along before then as well that will probably be very important to the internet in the future, but don't yet exist. So yeah, they are. They don't really like our nuclear weapons programs. I mean, I think we've seen over the years where people have reported UFO sightings near like nuclear missile bunkers and this kind of thing. Army personnel have reported sighting UFOs and beams shooting out at the nuclear missiles and disarming them and this kind of thing. Like, clearly, we shouldn't have those. And maybe it's the kind of thing where they'll make themselves known if we all, I mean, every country can agree to uh, disarm our nuclear programs. Frankly, that would be amazing because I can't remember a time, there hasn't been a time in my life where nuclear war wasn't a potential risk. I mean, it's insane what we, the present generation, have grown up with. We've grown up with the threat of nuclear annihilation every day of our lives, and maybe that's what they're going to help us do. I don't know. And if any of our governments are hiding anything, they'll know about it because they have more advanced technology. The aliens, I mean. So yeah, maybe that's the solution to the arms race, the nuclear proliferation is extraterrestrial intervention. I have no idea, but we'll see what happens. I would certainly be willing to discuss that for sure if I were president. Hi there, Joe. Welcome to the live chat. Winnie62 says, you must be the one that declassified time travel technology and presence of aliens here in Earth once you become president. I think I will be, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think the timeline has been repaired to the optimum outcome at this point, which is what we're, I think, all aspiring to, and looking for is an optimum situation where, the potentially negative things that some say will happen won't happen, and the positive things will only happen. So let's see. One thing I do realize is that, that if I am to become president of the United States, I really need your help, frankly, because there's no way I can do this by myself. And I would just encourage all of you to really look at my platform, tell your friends, ask them if they've heard about my my website, which is macintoshusa.org, and really think about it and start talking about it, at least, because I think if we can spread the word and start doing so this early, it will really be a real thing by 2024, and we'll just have no trouble beating anybody who tries to stand up against what we're doing. And but like I said, I can't do this by myself. There's no way. It's just not. If it's just me out here, it's not going to happen, because it's not about me. It's about everybody, really. So if you guys can, if you guys really like what I'm trying to get across here, and you really want me to be the president, then I'm really asking for your help, because that is really the only way it's going to happen. So, but yeah. So, And by the way, welcome to the live chat, Winnie62. There's a Winnie62 in here. Do I know you? By the way, let's see, possibly. So, is there anybody in this live chat who doesn't like beer? Of greater concern to me is yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about is Bitcoin and what's happening with Bitcoin right now. If you guys don't know about it, if you don't know about Bitcoin, it's really important that you do, because $100 worth of Bitcoin right now is going to make you rich in a few years. 4 years from now, it's reasonably expected that Bitcoin will multiply in value by 3,600%. So if you take $100 and multiply that by 3,600%, you have $360,000. So therefore, if you take $200 or $300 worth of Bitcoin right now and hold on to it for 4 years, you will be either almost or actually a millionaire. So what I'm urging all of you to do right now, for the sake of your own financial future and your own financial well-being in the future, is just to pick yourselves up a few $100 worth of Bitcoin somehow, somewhere. Just, make some kind of sacrifice somewhere in terms of what you spend or what you own, and just get yourself some Bitcoin and hold on to it. Do not let go, because it's going to make you rich. And if you're struggling right now, you won't be. Since its inception, Bitcoin has multiplied something like 9 million%. So if you think about that, in 10 years, it's grown 9 million%. If you take $100 right now, and in 10 years it grows 9 million%, you will be almost a billionaire. That's crazy, but that's the way things are going. The best website for Bitcoin is, well, there really aren't. The wallet to hold it in is at blockchain.com. You keep it in there. That's like your bank account, basically, blockchain.com. And let's see what else. There are several places which you can buy Bitcoin from to have it sent to your wallet. Let me see if I can bring you up a list of them here. Bitcoin sellers. There are Bitcoin ATMs. Let's see, bitcoin.org, bitcoins.net, 99bitcoins.com, paxful.com, Paxful. Let's see, Bitcove.ie is a good one. Coinbase. Are they still around? Coinbase is still around, I think. Yep. Coinbase.com. Bitcove.ie. Those are both good. Let's see. Do your own research there, but there are two really good ones that I've used are bitcove.ie. They're a company in Ireland, and Coinbase.com. I think I used, if I recall correctly. But yeah, I'm not sure if you can get as little as $5, but I haven't used any of the Bitcoin ATMs yet. But if you can find one of those around, I think they might accept that as little as $5, but I'm not sure. If you know any information on that, if you find out any information on that, let me know because I'll share it for sure. And I think the more people know about this, the better it will be for everybody, frankly. Okay, Bitcoin will be the future currency. Winnie62 asks. Well, probably Winnie, because what's happening right now is, and what's been happening for a long time, frankly, this is just the culmination of it. We are entering a phase where all money is, people are going to want more control of their economic futures, as many already have. People aren't going to want a centralized currency that is controlled by a handful of people and that effectively dictates to even our governments what they can and can't do via economic imposition, shall we say. To put it nicely. So we have tried many ways to make our currency systems work properly, the way that they're supposed to, for the people, by the people. And ultimately, this has all failed. So really what Bitcoin is an alternative to gold or fiat currency, which we've been using for the last forever. The US dollar is what's called a fiat currency, which means it doesn't actually have anything backing it. It's just it's funny money, basically. It doesn't really have any value other than the fact that it says United States government on it. It's just numbers on paper, and it's not supported by anything anymore. It used to be, but Richard Nixon did away with that when he was president, and that's why it's one of the biggest reasons that he was an impeachment was sought after him, and he just quit because he abolished the gold standard and replaced the gold standard dollar with fiat currency. But anyway, even that doesn't work really the way that it was intended. So what Bitcoin is just another alternative and another way of sort of weaning us off of this dependence on economic systems for our well-being and for doing trade and providing or obtaining payment for services and this kind of thing. Bitcoin is even less controlled than fiat currency, and indeed probably in the future there will be something else instead of it, inevitably. But it is my educated opinion and it, it, assumption really based on probability that Bitcoin is the future of money. Um, some people say it's an old technology already, which it kind of is, but it's still far better and far superior to fiat currency and the modern banking systems that we have in place. And I think within a very short time, you're going to see most people migrate towards either Bitcoin or some other form of cryptocurrency. Within the next 4 to 5 years, it's easily going to happen. So, those of us who are getting in on it now or already have stand to benefit greatly from doing that. So that's why I'm sort of here encouraging all of you, because I don't want you guys to miss out. Yeah, it will be hard at first, but you get used to it, I guess, without like all changes. I mean, it's the same if it's kind of the same as if you've moved to another country or lived in another country or even just traveled in another country when, um, before credit cards and debit cards and all this. You have to change the currency sometimes when you go to another country. It's kind of the same thing, just a change of currency. Yeah, why not instead of Bitcoin, each state makes their own money system? Well, we did that. We used to do that. I mean, and well, let's see. I mean, it's just becoming more and more consistent, I guess, throughout the whole world. But I think even eventually you might see something like the Amero come into full effect all across North America instead of the dollar or the Canadian dollar or the Mexican peso. You'll see the Amero, which isn't a bad thing, you guys. It makes it easier to do business. It makes it easier to do all kinds of things if we have the same standard of value consistently throughout the world. But the problem therein is the monopoly that goes on with some people having the issuing power of the currency and others not having access to any of that. It just effectively becomes like a slavery kind of system. So um, we need to move away from that. Absolutely move away from that. So I look at these things as just gradual, incremental steps toward ultimate economic freedom, which is somewhere down the line. But what will happen to the government if the currency changed to dollar to Bitcoin? That is a good question, Winnie. I think what the thing is, the government has no say in Bitcoin. They can't control it. It's up to us. If we choose to use it, then they really don't have a say in that. You see, so it takes the power away from the government and away from people who want to use the government to control you and me and everybody else in here. Um, and really, that's what it's about. It's about greater freedom. So The government will find it harder to collect taxes, which is good, frankly. And they're just going to have to, the government's going to have to figure out better ways. They're not going to be able to take from the people. They're going to have to seek ways to do what they're supposed to be doing, which is actually helping people, not taxing them. Maybe the government can then get off its lazy ass and start being productive so that it can have something to give back to the people. Wow, what a thought, huh? Wouldn't that be incredible? So, you want me to go bald? Well, I'm not gonna go there, so don't worry. I'm still young, so kind of, I'll probably get there someday. So check back in a few years. Who knows what but I'm not shaving it off just yet, so you're gonna have to wait. Taxes equal stealing money. You are correct, Red Legend. Taxes were illegal in the United States up until what 1922 or something, and I think it should go back to that. Frankly, I don't think the United States government needs to tax the people. I think we have a mechanism that is ultimately able to operate in a manner that is self-sustained and profitable, with the ability to generate income that can then just be given back to the people rather than con the people ultimately and coerce the people into supporting it. It doesn't need to work that way, and it shouldn't. So just shave. No. I'll shave when I feel like it. Damn it. As the hidden ruler of this world, steering the world to direction they decided to or want, they must have like you for you to become president. Geez, I don't know. Do you really think it's that controlled? I mean, haven't we done a lot already to remove, to decentralize power? We've done a lot over the course of time, but it's not finished. That's for sure. So, we just got to keep working and keep figuring out what needs to be done, and have the courage to do it. That's all. Will you stop telling me what I should do with my appearance, please? I'll do whatever I want, whenever I want to. Thank you. With my appearance. I mean, you can tell me whatever you want, but I'm just saying, I'm going to do whatever I want. All right, just a sec, you guys. My computer's about to die, so I need to plug this thing in. It's all right. Just a minute. Where's the cable?
Yeah.
All right, so here's my. Yeah. So here's my theory, my economic theory, right? And this is transitional. Doesn't have to be like the final be all end all of things, but this is progressive in my opinion. If the federal government is a corporation, which it is, And we as citizens are employees of that corporation, which we are. Um, we're basically stockholders in a corporation, in a giant corporation. Right. So that corporation, for it to be functional, should be profitable and should be able to pay all of its employees. If it's not able to do that, and it's just draining from the stockholders, so to speak, in the form of taxes and fines and penalties and every other damn thing that they want you to pay, um, really, what's the point? Shouldn't we just form a new corporation? Well, so my proposal then, instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, is that we should seek ways to make the federal government make profit for us so that we can get paid from it and by it. Does that not make sense? So yeah, taxes are definitely, it's laziness really, ultimately. The government is so big still that it really should be able to continuously make profit that it can then pay us with some of, at least. Um, so that's why, I'm looking for people with smart economic minds that can figure out ways to really make things profitable for all of us and eliminate eliminate expenses where that can be done. And this is the approach, at least, that I want to take as president economically. I think we need to definitely really, really change some of our laws that hold us back from profiting as a society and really make it so that the federal government is a huge money making machine that doesn't rely on things like selling arms and the military and things like that for making profit. They need to be uh, businesses that are not harmful. And we have enough land, we have enough people, we have enough brain power, willpower. Our workforce is large enough. There's no way we shouldn't be able to do these things. Yeah, that's okay. Red Legend, don't worry. I understand you're just giving me friendly advice. It's cool. Lucas, will you give the American people who aren't computer literate free Bitcoin? Well, there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever. This is the thing that you guys need to understand. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever. That's not enough to give one to everybody. And a lot of those are already gone. So what I'm saying is right now, what we really need to do, rather than just give people free Bitcoin, which we can't do realistically, um, is tell people about it and encourage them to buy some. Because even if we all just buy $100 each, guys, in 4 years, that $100 will be $360,000. You see my point? That's enough money to last your life. really, if you're smart. That can last you a whole lifetime. If you have $200, that's going to make you close to $300. That's going to make you a millionaire. If you can't live on $1 million for the rest of your life and use that million to invest and grow and build business for yourself, and you really have problems. Um, but what I am going to say is, I would like to see the government operate in a way where, we'll still use probably dollars and cents. I would like to see the government operate in a way where it is feasible to just pay everybody what they need to live. And we can do that. It's not a bad idea. Now, I'm not saying we should discourage industry or prevent that from working the way that it ideally should work. What I'm saying is that basic needs for every citizen should be taken care of, and can be, if the federal government is operating properly. If we're not doing that, and we're not able to do that, something's very wrong. Something is very wrong. Or if we're refusing to do that, something's very wrong. That's all I'm saying, is we're employees of the government as citizens, and we deserve to get paid, basically. Because we all contribute something in one way or another, ultimately. Even just our being born. So, let's see. Yeah, Trump, it really is just the beginning. And if people don't like what Trump is doing, wait till they get a load of what's coming next. Next is all I can say. They're really going to not like it. But hey, you know what? Too bad. Um, talk to Elon Musk. I mean, guys, you can't rely on Elon Musk for everything. Seriously. Some get some use. I think. Well, I don't think the government's going to be giving out any free Bitcoin to anybody. But I think what the government can do is, if people need assistance, financial assistance with paying their basic day-to-day expenses, that the government can do that and should do that. I'm talking like, food, housing, clothing, basic stuff. There's no reason why the federal government can't afford to take care of those needs for every US citizen and legal resident. There's absolutely no reason why that can't be done. And all I'm saying is, if we tweak the way our government works a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it'll be minimal, we can make that happen. It'll be really, really minimal change. In the bigger picture, it won't even be noticed. But we can set in place mechanisms and programs and initiatives that can make that happen. And I think we should. I really believe we should. So that's definitely something um, I'm learning more about and something I want to explore should I become the president in 2024. Um, so that nobody in America will ever have to worry about, are they going to have adequate shelter? Are they going to have enough food to eat? Are they going to have decent clothes to wear to a job interview or to a business meeting or something? And every other thing will function business as usual that way. But I'm just saying, in addition to that, we can afford these things and we can make it work. So, yeah, you could use 300 grand for the rest of your life, easy. So, what I'm saying is, take that $100 that you have now somewhere, I'm sure. If you can't find $100, then I don't know. If you can't dig up $100 in America today, somehow, some way, without hurting anybody, without stealing it, without committing a crime, go sell your baseball cards or something. Um, take that $100 and buy yourself some Bitcoin and just let it sit there for a while. Watch what happens. And if you have more money to spend on that, then I would advise you to do that as well because uh, it'll make you more money more quickly the way things are going. Yeah, we do just have to spend money properly and use our brains. When we have those, we have some of the brightest minds in the world, economically and otherwise. So why are we not using that that those minds to the fullest? Uh, to the fullest. Well, here's why: because some people don't want things to change. That's why. It's that simple. Some people don't want things to change. They like it exactly the way it is. They want it to be worse for everybody else and better for them because they're lacking in basic human decency, is what they are. And um, I want to see that end as well. I hope you do too. All right. Yep. Uh, none of this stuff would go belly up if people would just use common sense when it came to economics, Lucas. We definitely have the resources to house every person. There's no reason for homelessness in the United States of America, period. Um, there's no reason for anybody to be hungry ever. And the fact that our federal government is so huge and is not tackling these very basic problems for everybody, uh, it's just wrong. It's wrong. It's immoral. And it's stupid, frankly. Why don't we just get rid of money and the barter system? Who knows what will happen? Maybe someday. Would it really be that bad if we did, frankly? But that's for another time. I don't think people are ready for that just yet. But I don't know. Maybe they are. Who knows? Hi there, Melissa. How are you? Welcome. Hi there, Mallory. What is my campaign plan, if I may ask? Um, well, best thing for success is not to tell people your plans in advance. so they can't. So anybody who wants you to fail can't sabotage you. So I know that there are people out there who want me to fail. So unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what my plans are. But just know that by 2024, uh, probably the whole world will have heard of me by then. So not just the United States, not just people in the United States, but I'm planning on going global, frankly, because I don't want to just get things done in America. I want to, we're trying to change the world here. I hope you understand that. So, yeah, I can't tell you exactly what I have planned, and uh, I hope you understand that. So, hi there, Omar. The people who got the power are the big business owner. They will never want to change that as long as they're happy. They don't care about others. But are they really happy? So that's another question. They ask me how much I tell them I'm willing to do it for free, your genealogy. What do you mean by that, Lucas? You want to research my genealogy? I already, I've already done that, so I could tell you. But if you want to research, go right ahead. If Hollywood actually cared, they would save the world. Yet they virtue signal that the poor don't pay enough. Yeah. Who cares about Hollywood? I mean, we're not even. They're not even going to be relevant in a short time because I mean, if you hadn't noticed, the music industry is dead. The movie industry is nearly dead. Um, the entertainment industry is spreading out everywhere. I mean, I'm a musician, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. I don't work out of any of the traditional music capitals like Los Angeles or New York or London, or I don't really have any need to go to those places or spend any time in them. I can do everything from, you know, a computer in rural Wyoming if I want to. I don't really need the music industry, and the movie industry is becoming that way as well. So who cares about Hollywood, frankly? Well, thank you for your understanding. I appreciate that because, I do have to, I am doing everything to keep myself safe, of course, and more importantly than me, to me is my family. So I'm doing everything I can to keep them safe as well. Because, we know what we're dealing with, we know what we're up against, and we know what we stand for, and we know that there are a lot of people who don't like that. So too bad for them, I guess, right? Yeah, I tend to avoid anything from Hollywood at this point. I think the last thing in Hollywood I was really interested in was the Terminator movies. They were kind of cool. But I heard the last one was kind of not that great. Even Schwarzenegger didn't really like it apparently. Let's see. When I ask people in my if the timeline was changed back, are we still going to meet aliens in 2028? Um, I think we will, Melissa. I think that right now we are on the optimum timeline. With World War III never happened. The other good stuff is going to happen, and the eventual outcome will be extremely positive for everybody moving forward. But we have, and I can't emphasize this enough, we have to work on it together. There's no way we can just dump the responsibility of making everything happen properly on one person or a handful of people, or thinking that just by voting somebody in who kind of says the right things but might be not the right person, or whatever, that thing to take care of themselves. It's not going to happen that way. We have to be involved, and we have to work together. Okay. I'm not sure what your comments are about there, honestly. Just join so you can talk about Bitcoin. I'm not just here to talk about Bitcoin, you guys. I'm here to talk about changing the world. So, and that's what we're going to do. We're not just trying to make America the greatest again. We're trying to change the world. And actually do it, not just talk about it and hope that it happens and pretend that we're doing something. We're actually going to do this. So, but yeah, Bitcoin is one way that we're going to make things better. Um, I would encourage any of you to get as much of it as you possibly can, and make sure that your financial futures are nothing to be concerned about. Storm 14, welcome. Are you from the future? No, I am not. I'm from here. I was born in the mid 1970s. I grew up in 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and 2000s, 2010s. You could say I'm still growing up, but no, I'm not from the future. I'm from here and from this timeline, from this time. And my beer is almost gone. Mm. Yeah, definitely too much neoliberalism and too much neoconservatism. We need we need to get all these extremists basically either pushed way out and and completely out of picture so that they have no power in government or anything else, any other negative, any other way to negatively influence us, and or whatever rational people there are in those camps, if there are any, bring them into the middle somewhere and get them to sit down and talk about stuff and figure out working solutions that we can then spread. Um, but I think more likely what we're going to do is just replace them with an entirely new set of rational, sane, intelligent people who want to actually make things work. And I think those people, I think I'm one of those people. I think you guys seem like you're the same way. And I think it's just our time to take over and get rid of what's been in there for far too long already. So, so that things will actually work for not just for ourselves, but our children, children's children, and continue on a positive course. All done with that beer, you guys. Melissa says, "Will you have the first woman vice president?" Yep, probably. I'm elected. I'm definitely appointing a woman as vice president, and not because she's a woman, but because She's a smart person, and that person is Ann Coulter. You guys may have heard of her. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It has to do with the fact that she knows knows what needs to be done, and probably be the best vice president the country's ever had, frankly, and indeed a good president. What do I think about the teenagers today, and what do I think they'll do for the future? Well, my daughter is 10, so she's not that far from being a teenager, frankly, and my son is 7, so give him a little while. I know what they're like, and I know that they're interested in, science, learning, exploration, study, research, development, inventions, technology. I think they're going to be the space generation, frankly. I think they're going to be the generation that really, really brings an end to things like racism, an end to a total end to like economic problems for anybody. I think they're going to be a really great generation of people, frankly, and just watch. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. A lot of people have negative things to say about the younger generation, but I think they're better. And frankly, the sooner they get to have the run of things, I think the better the world will be. That's truth. Yeah. Small businesses will definitely be a focus of my administration, small businesses and trade unions. I think the two hand in hand can really, really be very effective. And I've seen that in my hometown, my home state of Massachusetts, having grown up in and around the city of Boston. I saw what happened to Boston when the federal government took some initiative to put funding into various projects in the city of Boston and really enable the growth of small businesses and trade union projects. And Massachusetts became the best economy in the entire United States because of that simple initiative, which wasn't a huge expense really to the federal government, but now imagine if we could take that and do it in, say, Detroit, Baltimore, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, other places, Gary, Indiana. I mean, places where there are problems, economic problems, social problems. Put money into these places and focus on small businesses, focus on trade unions. Watch the difference it will make. I can promise you that it will make a difference if we are allowed to and able to do that, and I think we can. And don't let people like Mitt Romney ruin it. You guys, Massachusetts had the best economy in the entire Union, the entire United States, until George Bush took office and Mitt Romney became governor. And it just went after their changes in policy and their changes in spending. Just stupid people, frankly. Stupid, 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 and irresponsible. Have you watched Ann Coulter, New January 2020 on PBS Frontline interview? No, but I will. I'm always interested in what Ann has to say, and I think she has a very astute view on the way things work in Washington and throughout the country, and is very observant and has a good problem-solving mind and approach to things. And don't let the fact that she's a woman deter you from getting behind what she's all about, because she really knows what she's talking about. So I would be happy to make her the vice president. And, I would love to see her as the president, honestly, someday. What? Okay. I'm glad you agree, Mallory. I'm glad there are so many people on the same page here. What's your outlook on Medicare? Medicare, um, a problem with Medicare. I mean, whatever works, we have to take care of people's health. That's obvious. And I think there are always things we can do to improve any program like that. And we should be looking to do that. It's really very simple. But yeah, I don't. Why would you want to mess with that? I don't. It's just, you know, it's evil people that want to take away things like that, and I'm not one of those guys. So, will I advocate cannabis if elected? Well, I think if you go back and look at the beginning of this video after this, you'll see that I was talking about Sunday when I'm in a state where it's legal. I'm going to come on here and smoke a joint with you guys. So, yeah, I will definitely advocate for cannabis. I was actually one of the first people to really help push for cannabis reform in my home state. And that's across the country. I mean, if you look at the Massachusetts cannabis initiatives that went on in even as far back as the 1980s and 1990s, when I was just a kid, I was part of that. We used to have concerts every summer on the Boston Common. All the local rock bands would come and play, and we'd advocate from the stage for cannabis reform. And everybody, it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. Nobody got hurt. Everybody had a good time. I don't see any reason we can't continue to, yeah, push for cannabis reform on a national level. So, yes, I will definitely not just advocate for it, but given the opportunity, I will completely change the laws. Completely. Okay. Awesome. Shouldn't be allowed to make kids. Omar, where are you from? What country are you from? It doesn't. You seem to have some very extreme views every time you come in here. So, um, that sounds like China. So, who gets to decide what's a good way and what's not a good way? I think you're really crossing a line with basically human rights at that point. And no, I think that's the wrong approach to take when it comes to anything you're talking about in that subject. Jay, I will definitely do that next time I'm in California or Massachusetts at this point. I'm not in either of those places right now, so but when I am, you'll know. So yeah, I'm definitely 100% for cannabis reform, and you know, just don't blow it in my face if I don't want you to do that. It's just that's all I'm asking, and that's all I'd be asking. That's all anybody should really expect reasonably. I think it's polite. You know, I don't want to walk down the street and have a joint blown in my face when I'm on my way to take care of something and I can't be high while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, otherwise, you know, it's your choice to smoke it if you want to, like, if you think that's what you're willing to do or wanting to do. I think that should be your choice, you know. Freedom of choice. Remember that? Our founding fathers were 100% in favor of freedom of choice. Well, I think we're taking that to mean something that it doesn't and not interpreting it in a way that it should be presently. So, and perhaps if we were using our freedom of choice or and our freedom of choice were legally respected more, um, our brains would all work better and we'd be able to come up with better solutions to things. Huh? Don't you? Will I still try the Mars missions? I mean, I think if Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars, for instance, and he really wants to do that, I think, and he really knows what he's doing, you know, I don't see any reason why there can't be some kind of assistance provided in some way by the government to make sure that he's able to do that. It seems like, you know, if he's got a better handle on certain things than even NASA, why are we funding NASA? And, you know, truthfully, we don't need to fly rockets to Mars because we have teleportation. This is another thing that I've been trying to communicate, but people don't seem to want to hear that. I've tried contacting Elon Musk. I've never talked with him. Um, he seems to still want to fly rockets to Mars when we can just teleport there. So, do I agree with what Trump is doing? Which aspect of it? Would I provide that teleportation? I think teleportation is it might be dangerous to declassify and make public. Definitely to make public, but declassification, I think it's probably already done at this point, really. But enough people have been talking about that. But to make it so that it's it's a tricky thing. There are so many security issues pertaining to that we have to rectify those first, and then start thinking about what can be done afterwards. Really, but that's my approach to that. NASA, I am an arm of the government that keeps things hidden. That is for sure. I know that, having been involved in other programs that are not related to NASA. If there is a teleport to Mars, there is one to get you back. That is correct. So apparently, somebody teleported a teleporter to Mars and left it there so we could teleport back. That was before, or at least not during my involvement in that project. But yeah, you can teleport a teleporter and then leave it there. But I guess I probably shouldn't talk too much about that, just a little bit. Information I think is okay. But yes, there is a teleporter on Mars, a teleportation station, if you want to call it that. Um, there is. I've used it. I've been there. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Um, but I'm sure you understand the security risks with making teleportation public, because imagine if, say, a terrorist group wanted to get a hold of one of those stations and teleport something somewhere like explosives to uh, another teleportation location. That would be obviously very bad. But so what we really have to do before making teleportation completely public is to 100% clear up security issues pertaining to it. So at this point, it is clearly too risky, but we'll see what happens in the coming years, I suppose. Uh, no, I don't think there is one on every planet. I don't know. I've never been to every planet, so I don't know. But I do know that there's one on Mars. Maybe eventually, everybody will be able to use it. Maybe eventually, but my talking about it here and others talking about it as well, it's just the start of something that I think will be commonplace in the future, which is teleportation all across the planet, which will replace the automobile, the airplane, the train, etc., etc. At least replace the need for those things. And yeah, we'll be able to teleport to and from Mars and perhaps begin to build a new civilization up there using teleportation. Maybe in the future that'll be just for initially for military purposes. In fact, that's what it has been, is only for military purposes so far. But in the future, I think the general public will be able to do that. So, how did I get involved? I was drafted. I was asked to join them. So it was kind of a draft. It was kind of volunteer. I didn't know what I was getting into when I volunteered. So, um, but yeah, I did. And I was only a kid. I was a child, literally. So I didn't really have the wherewithal to know what I was volunteering for. But yeah, technically not very legal what they did to me, but hey, I'm over it. I survived. I'm alive. It made me stronger. I don't like the memory suppression stuff though. That kind of bothers me. I wish they didn't erase my memory afterwards for 30 something years. You guys, stop erasing people's memories, okay? That's the worst part. What is my zodiac? You are a Cancer. Clearly. I'm just making fun of you. Well, I don't believe in any of that stuff, frankly, but if I were to give any credence to it, I think I would be considered a Virgo. But it doesn't mean anything to me, honestly. I don't believe in that. And if anybody can prove that there's anything to it, then, feel free to try to waste my time, but I just think it is a waste of time, frankly. Yeah, August 27th is my date of birth. August 27th, 1974. So that's Virgo, I think. Why do you ask? Do you think there's anything to astrology? Because I've never seen any indication that there is anything substantially uh, credible about it. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just not seeing something. No. Okay. All right. Well, you guys, it's getting late for me. I've had a long day. I've been up since 4 in the morning. So I really should try to get some rest and catch up on my sleep because I have a lot to do this week. And yeah, I don't think it really means anything. But I mean, there are people who know way more about that than I do. I don't really know very much about it. I've just looked at it in a very perfunctory kind of way, in depth at all. But yeah, I need to get some rest, you guys. Thank you for coming in. And if you guys can please just tell one other person what are my jobs. Right now, I am presently, I am basically the president of a company that I started in my parents' house when I was 18 or 17 that deals with intellectual property, deals with real estate, deals with construction and development, uh, and a bunch of other things that are different divisions of a single company that I started. So that's what I do. And I do a lot of investing. So things are starting to look really good for a presidential campaign and a presidential run, even in 2024, in terms of finance. I think I'm going to be well able to do it financially. And So nothing's going to stop it. Not even me. And frankly, I'm my own worst enemy. So, yeah, focus on your schoolwork, you guys. But if you can at least tell one or two other people this week, maybe about what we're doing here, what MacintoshuSA.org is all about, and what changes we're trying to bring about in our political system in Washington in 2024. You'll be really helping, not just me, but helping. Uh, we'll be helping ourselves, basically. Wait, what, Melissa? What isn't something you would put in writing? The website is. I'll type it here for you guys. MacintoshuSA.org. That's my website. This is also a website of mine. That is. I don't think he meant a literal bomb, you guys. I think it's a figure of speech. Like, that's the bomb. I bombed that test because I didn't pass it. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant. I don't think he was talking about a literal bomb. Cool. Thank you for listening to the music. Every time you play one of my songs, it puts some money into our campaign and helps me get the word out more. So this is all just part of that. So thank you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks for stopping in. This is Michael Macintosh. Have a great rest of your day, and stay safe, you guys. Be good.